Pittodrie Stadium in Aberdeen has never seen anything like it. Rangers had drawn 1-1 with Aberdeen in a torrid affair, during which player-manager Graham Souness was sent off. But in Glasgow, Celtic had lost to Falkirk. The Ibrox men were 4 points clear of their old firm rivals with just one game to play, and the Premier League Championship was theirs for the first time in 9 years. That achievement is the culmination of an extraordinary year both for Rangers and Scottish football. Last season the club was in the doldrums, on and off the field. They were becoming known as the also-rans of Scottish football. Now they believe they stand poised to become as big as any team in Europe. Graham Souness, for all his European experience, is still overwhelmed by the intensity of the Rangers' support.
I'm still finding out what it's all about. I used to come and watch them when I was a boy. When I took the job and part of the selling pitch, if you like, to Butchers and Woods, was the passion that was involved with Glasgow Rangers. And even myself, I think I'm still finding out about that. I mean, the supporters out there, and they so desperately wanted that today. And the lads in there gave it.
This is for all the people who didn't make it to the game, all the fans, all the boys who turn up week in, week out at Ibrox. This is for them, this is for them for 9 years in the shadow of Celtic. This is for the people, for Rangers.
The dressing room celebrations that followed were of a kind not seen for the best part of a decade. Historically, Rangers have been Scotland's biggest and most powerful club, drawing their support and income not only from their home turf of Govan and Glasgow, but from all parts of Scotland and beyond. In the late 70s, however, they began a period of comparative decline. There were no more league titles, attendances had fallen dramatically, and, worst of all, there was a general impression that players were wearing the blue jerseys who would never have been considered Ibrox material in the great years. One man saw it as his business, literally, to change all this. David Holmes, a man previously little known outside the building trade. Holmes is head of the John Lawrence group of companies in the UK. Rangers Football Club is one of their subsidiaries. With the backing of the millionaire owner of the group, Lawrence Marlborough, who now lives in the United States, Holmes became more actively involved in the running of the club. He became chief executive, then chairman, and changes in the power structure were immediate. 4 directors left the board, and the man who started his working life as a joiner found himself in absolute control with millions to invest in the revival of Rangers.
Well, the truth is I did not want to become chairman of Rangers. My brief was to go into Rangers and bring something into the club, get it away from purely being football. We've got a big stadium and a magnificent support, and it was the pure economics I was interested in. But like everything else, you get wrapped up in it. And I was happy to be chief executive, because when you're chief executive, you can get a lot more done at the back. When you become chairman, you've got to go to interviews with Jim White. So I could have lived without that.
Was it your perception that as a business, Rangers Football Club was underachieving?
I felt that, yes. I felt that. Not as a criticism, but just that what had to happen was it had to be, when I penciled in where I wanted the club to go, after having been asked to come onto the board, then the only name I could get into my mind was Graham Souness, because I felt that if this club were going to be ambitious, then you've got to go for the very best, and I think Graham is the very best.
And staff as well. I mean, to be fair to them, I'm not going to say there has to be wholesale changes here, because I haven't seen them play in a long, long time. I have my ideas, and hopefully along with the board, we can come to some sort of agreement on both coaching and playing in the near future. But certainly, there has to be changes. I think everybody, supporters alike, realise that.
There were changes. Englishmen Colin West and Chris Woods arrived. Then, almost as big a surprise as Souness himself, the capture of Terry Butcher, captain of England and one of the most sought-after players in Europe.
I think coming here and seeing the place and knowing that we're playing in Europe next year is a big bonus for me. And I hope that my form here, especially in Europe and especially against other teams up there, will speak for itself.
Chris Woods was a big signing, but this one is a bigger signing in every way. in every way. No, we're absolutely delighted. You see, Terry is the backbone of the team for a lot of years to come. He will immediately be our captain. I think he's everything that a captain should be in stature, the way he plays the game of football, the way he lives away from the field of play. So he will be a captain. I think he's a natural leader. And if he plays like he has been playing for the last 5-6 years, the people here in Scotland will love him.
But on the eve of season 86-87, the Rangers players hardly fell in love with the new training regime. Leading from the front, Souness proved himself to be fitter than players 15 years younger.
Again for movement again. Forehead behind you. You feel it really pulling.
Souness concentrated on getting players physically and mentally fit. Expectations were high, but clearly tensions were too great on the opening Saturday. On that day at Easter Road, Souness did not lead by example.
Monroe jousting again with Mickey Weir. That's one for Cowan to chase with Butcher. Cowan sending it across. The chance is now on for Beattie. 1-0 to Hibs. Superbly done. Equaliser for Rangers. Good play from Souness. Immediately under pressure though from Beattie. Well, that's an aspect of the Scottish game with which Graham Souness may not be familiar. And tempos have gone completely now. McCluskey and Beattie, Souness is in the heart of it. Chris Woods wants to take his own kind of action. And this is a dreadful scene inside Easter Road. And off the ball, more trouble as Mark Coulton goes down. A collision with Colin West. And now the Hibs players turn their attention on the former Watford striker. Now Graham Souness may be in severe trouble here. He's already been booked, remember. The Hibs supporters going wild on the far side. But a red card has been shown to Graham Souness. Graham Souness has been ordered off. And Easter Road is going wild. Durant goes in for the high ball. It breaks for Kirkwood. McCoy's having to go back to help in defence. This is Irvin. There's a chance. And it's Steve Cowan for Hibs.
There was no doubting the colossal interest among supporters in the new look Rangers. Ticket queues outside Ibrox became a weekly routine. Wallace Mercer, Hearts losing out to Rangers there on the field. Is it their off-the-field success you admire most?
I'm pleased that they've invested so much money and have attracted players from England. This obviously has increased the market both on and off the field. I mean, in terms of sponsorship, they're now setting new standards in what they're charging. So as a businessman involved in Scottish football, I'm glad to see there are other people willing to invest, and in a big way.
Are Hearts or any other Scottish club in a position to make a similar kind of investment that Rangers have made?
I think we've got to qualify Rangers' investment. They had no alternative. They had a stadium that was half full. I mean, one has got to quantify what is success. It will take them 2 or 3 years to analyse succinctly whether the capital that's being invested is justified. It's not just the fact of filling the place. Any business, in fact, can trade outwardly in terms of turnover. The key is margin and profit. And I am not totally convinced as yet that they've got the recovery of the investment they've made. But what I do think as a businessman is they took the only course of action open to them. which invest heavily in quality players.
How does the club win back the huge amount of money it lays out when it buys players?
It wins back in the short term in terms of the enhanced performance which they've had in the league and the much improved attendances that have been at Ibrox this season. What they are faced though with is that if you buy in a player and you pay £500,000 or £1 million, it's the same with any club, you are buying what is a depreciating asset, particularly if the player is in his late 20s or early 30s. Of course, if you're buying a player in his early 20s, then as his experience builds up and if he's a forward, the number of goals he scores, his value can increase in the short term. But certainly in the longer term, you are buying a depreciating asset.
So from a business point of view, Terry Butcher and Graham Souness are depreciating assets?
Certainly as they move into their 30s and their playing life shorten, they become a depreciating asset, yes.
As a business, what kind of potential does Rangers Football Club have?
In the short
Well, anyone that suggests that success as a business is the important thing is way off the beam. The success is on the park. The best marketing that Rangers can do is to get the fans through the turnstile. Now, you can have any commercial deal you want, but the best commercial deal is to keep them coming in. And we've got an average this year of 36,000 and a 44,000 stadium, which is really amazing. And my ambition is to have an average of 40,000. And if we do that, then that'll be another major step forward.
Many stories have been bandied about the money which has been invested in the club. Can you put the record straight? How much has been invested in the club by the new regime?
Well, I think, I couldn't tell you to a penny, but I mean, you know, what's investment? We spent a lot of money, but we've had it back. Yeah, I think we've spent maybe $2.25 million. But the fans have given us a lot back. I mean, when I tell you that we're averaging 36,000 and you multiply that by an average, what, 250, you get back to the right figures again. The bank are happy. As long as they're happy, I'm really delighted. So they're happy.
And that means there's still much money left to be spent.
Oh, Rangers business generates its own cash. I mean, we're going to put our season tickets on sale, and I don't know what's going to happen, but you can rest assured we're going to make a big sell in the season tickets, and that money will be used to take the club through the close season and season at the start of next year. We will make our own investment now. We started off with the bank's money, but we'll give theirs back and we'll use our own money now. That's what business is all about.
Are you in total charge of what happens at Rangers Football Club?
It's my business. I don't care what anyone else says. It doesn't really matter what anyone else says. I was given the job, and I was given the job by my chairman, and he has never interfered since. And by the way, I have spoken to him, and he's absolutely delighted.
You've already spoken to?
Right after the game.
What was his reaction?
Well, he said something like, "Well done, Davy." That'll do me.
How big can the club be, do you think?
There's no limits to any club. I mean, you're only limited by your own ambitions. Now, this club has got ambitions, so that's the limit. They'll put their own limit on. They'll know when it's right. And I just hope that we can steer them there. That's the main thing.
How much of the credit do you think goes to the player-manager, Graham Souness?
Without Graham Souness, we don't have all the success.
On the day of Rangers' success, the players arrived to a rousing reception from their fans outside Pittodrie. Thousands had made the trip to the northeast, and some had paid dearly for their tickets. You have a ticket for the match, am I right?
Aye.
Now, how much did you pay for that ticket?
50 quid.
And what's the face value of it?
250.
You're obviously prepared to spend that kind of money?
They went me. No problem.
Why did you spend so much?
To go again, I'm not missing it. I've been everywhere following them. I'm not missing it now. No chance.
That feeling was shared by hundreds of Rangers fans without tickets who assembled on a hill overlooking Pittodrie for a restricted view of the game. Inside the ground, as the Rangers players warmed up, the party atmosphere suggested the league championship was already destined for Ibrox. But the party mood was to change. Graham Souness was sent off in the 31st minute after a second bad tackle, the season ending for him as it had begun. But it finished 1-1, and that was the signal for Rangers players and fans to celebrate. The frustration of 9 lean years was over.
I'm very pleased for the fans, but I'm very pleased for the chairman and the gaffer because they've spent a lot of money and, you know, we've just done it today for them and hopefully we can carry it on to next year.
What do you make of those fans? They've gone mad.
What can you say? Absolutely superb.
Butcher in particular. Butcher and the goalkeeper. And then really the lads around, the lads that were already at the club responded. And I could see the way they responded to them. And then I got Roberts, who's in the same mould as those two.
At Ibrox Park. This is the first time Rangers have won the title for 9 years. They spent heavily on star players and it's paid off.
The Rangers' revival this season has seen more than 1 million flood through the Ibrox turnstiles and over 500,000 watch the away matches. 41 times Rangers have played to capacity crowds. Today, a 44,000 sellout audience set a carnival atmosphere for the match against Scottish Cup finalists St Mirren. And after their 1-0 victory, Terry Butcher became the first Rangers captain in 9 years to lift the Premier League trophy. The club now looks likely to sell more than 10,000 season tickets next year, and with entry to the European Cup now secured, it's expected player-manager Graham Souness will make more big-name signings in a bid for success on the continent.
And viewers in Scotland can see highlights.
Long wait, 9 years, but we have made it. We will be there for the next 9 years.
Yeah!
And even longer.
Absolutely magic! Fantastic!
Marvellous. Marvellous. 2 years off my life. The greatest thing since sliced bread.
How long have you been coming to Ibrox yourself?
54 years.
That long?
That long, and I was a Greenokian. My first match I walked.
What has made the difference then? Why has this season been so different?
Butchers, Woods. Graham Roberts, no doubt about it. We'll play a couple more.
Terry, these last few seconds before going out are always a bit nerve-wracking. I would imagine you're enjoying the prospect of running out there today.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the game. I mean, it's the last 90 minutes of the season, so we're looking to go out there and give the crowd the money's worth.
Can you sum up in just a few words what this incredible season has meant for you?
Not really, no. If you've got half an hour, I'll tell you. No, I'm just very excited and I'm thrilled for the team and for the club and for the fans.
Thanks a lot, Terry. Let's move along the line. Chris, just let me ask you about the atmosphere you're going to meet out there. Does it help you as a goalkeeper to play in front of crowds like this?
It does, but it hinders my game because I can't shout at the back four. So, you know, I do my best, but they can't hear me, but I mumble on to myself anyway.
Great stuff, Chris. Let me grab Ali McCoy. Stanley, you've had a few goals this season. Looking forward to running out there today?
Very much so. It should be a great feeling.
Right.
I've got some anticipation of the dressing room. It's great just now.
Right. Has this been perhaps the highlight of your career so far?
Undoubtedly. It's been a great season with the lads, and just to see that crowd out there today, fantastic.
Great stuff, Ali. Good luck.
The Rangers players waiting there to go out and face 45,000 people.